Welcome back, haters. We are back, with another episode of You Hate to See It, where we talk about all the things you love and hate to see. I'm KP, and as always, I'm joined by my guys. I'm here with the Magic Man, Mikey Dimes.
Mikey Dimes, nice to see you guys again.
I'm here with our chief hater, D Wild, aka Dr. Hate.
Yes, sir.
The Citadel's own Archmaester Alex, aka Darth Helios.
It's your boy.
And joining us for the first time in a minute, we got my man Scotty Too Rare, aka Tommy Pickles, in the building. And we got a very special episode today, man, because we're doing what we do best, man. We talking Thrones. Man, it feels good to be
back. We are back. Holy shit.
So we gonna get into the pilot episode of House of the Dragon, a little show. Ever heard of it?
Never.
Pause.
Hey, if George is calling it Hot D, then you know what? I'm gonna call it Hot D. Fuck it.
It's Hot D. Hey, look, it's Hot D. I don't give a fuck, man. It's Hot D. But before we do that, spoiler warning. If you have not experienced the Hot D, turn this pod off.
That's insane.
If you haven't gotten the taste of the Hot D, turn this pod off right now.
Spoilers.
Every analogy just gets worse.
I had multiple tastes.
Multiple. Hey yo!
What's the video? They said, I don't want the taste. I want the whole load.
Hey yo! Black on the hey.
That's a double T right now. That's a double T right now.
Yeah, man. House of the Dragon, man. Let's go ahead and dive in. I want everybody's general thoughts. What you think about the episode? How you feel to be back? And yeah, let's go. Kick us off, Dante.
I am, this is going to be a rare occurrence for me. I am not on today's pod to hate.
Yes, sir.
I'm here to just love, man. I'm just so happy to be back, man. It's been 3-4 years since we got some new Thrones content. I sat and watched every character interview before the episode dropped. Yeah. I watched the behind the scenes making of the episode after I finished the episode, and then ran the episode back a few more times, before we recorded the pods. Right? I am just so glad to have some new Thrones content, man. Happy to be back. What you think, Mike?
Man, I have to reiterate everything you said. I just think it's funny how after season 8 and the debacle of season 8, everybody was saying, "Oh man, I'm never watching Thrones again." People were binge watching the show and just hating on the ending. And now we back with a better show, and it's just one, we get the memes back, and two, I get to just look at people sideways for even having that come out their mouth, yeah, they might have not been what you thought, but it's still better than 90% of shit you've seen. So, and this falls into the 95% because this first episode was amazing. I'm just glad to be back, man. I'm glad.
Yes, sir.
People just be lying, Mike. They
just lying.
Just lying. That's it.
I mean, yeah, y'all pretty much hit it. We're back. We started this 3-4 years ago, whenever it was. All this talking about Thrones, and now we are finally back here in our element, and I'm glad we got. Now it started off with just me and Michael. Now we got 3 others here with us, not talking shit, but just shooting the shit and talking Thrones this. We back, guys. We back.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm super new. I binged it before. I think it was season 7. I did a 68 episode binge, whatever it was.
Hell yeah.
Just to catch up in a week and a half. It was sick. I lost a lot of sleep. But nonetheless, we're back. I think the coolest part or the funniest part to me is just like you said, it seemed like everybody was supposedly off, and then all of a sudden the first week comes in 10 million. I'm seeing memes on Twitter. I'm seeing folks changing their Twitter names, handles, all kind of stuff's going on. So it's very interesting to watch play out.
I'm pretty sure
Wig Hightower. Find me on Twitter.
The feeling is restored, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I forgot how real Sunday nights got whenever Thrones was at its peak, man. I'm talking about the whole TL standing at attention, man. I really forgot. Like I really forgot everybody's like on YouTube watching all these little breakdowns or however many things you missed during the episode again. Like it's very few properties that can have the nation on lock like that. Very few.
And week to
So
week
we
too,
about to
not
witness
just.
something special. I think this was a top tier episode. Like this would be like a top 15 episode of Game of Thrones already off the rip. So we cooking with grease. We cooking with grease. So let's get into our first character breakdown. The star of the show. Make no mistake about it. This is her show. So Rhaenyra, what do we think? Give us our first impressions of the Princess Rhaenyra.
Hey man, I'll go first because you know me. I'm Queen Danny all the way. That's my queen. Hey, she said burn down the city. Fuck it, let's burn it down.
Yeah.
I can see they're trying
Fuck
to
them peasants.
they're trying to get Rhaenyra to be kind of the new Danny, and I saw a lot of people were talking shit about the way she said Jakaris on
A
Twitter.
little soft. It was a little,
Yeah.
it didn't have that oomph to it.
I mean, she's
that
a-
I-
yeah,
That shit was fire.
She's a
Literally
tween.
fire.
Like
That's how
She's a tween. That's what I'm saying.
give her a chance to
her
grow into
voice
it.
cracked a little.
right.
No,
she
but
was
you're talking
nervous.
about
Cracked a little.
accent and all that she said with them. Like that's how it's supposed to sound. Like she grew up talking Valyrian. She's been around Valyrians the whole time. But Rhaenyra, like I know people want to crown her already to go. I need more time from her. I need more time. She's already ahead of where Dany was at her age, just because she's already a dragon rider. She's already saying, "I want to be a warrior. My place is on the battlefield." So you know she's about that life. So I'm excited to see her progression because I know right now there's another actress that's going to play her. So I can see how that kind of meshes, see how it makes it believable. All right, this really was a younger her, and just kind of seeing where we're going because, like I said, it is a first episode of a 4-season show. So
Yeah.
I mean, we get a lot with Rhaenyra just off the front. Like she even does the cold open with Jaharis, the Grand Council at Harrenhal. Like she's the one narrating that as they lead in. So I thought that was a cool like narrative choice there to have it told in her voice, and to really root us in the fact that this story is really going to center around this strong female character, and whatnot. So I thought it was a really good introduction to her. Like I said, that the Dracarys was a little but she was sad. So that's like it's a tough moment to have the Dracarys. But I think also
The
at the end,
goddess.
yeah, like it was. I was like, yeah, this is. I was like, it didn't strike no fear in me. Like Danny used to say that shit with some bass in that. Like it was just like that
she's
shit.
burning
That shit
enemies,
really
not
brought me
her mom.
And also, Danny. I mean, she grew up in the streets, so I mean, she had a little.
out.
She had a little rough and tumble to her.
She had that dog in
Yeah.
Yeah,
her.
she did. Yeah, like she wouldn't like. She's not like. Well, don't get me wrong though. Rhaenyra, she's the princess, and she been in King Landing, but like you said, she's about that life. She wants to be a warrior. She wants to be on the battlefield. Like she is here about that life. But let's also not forget that she's incredibly smart. Like the same type of stuff that you talk about. With we'll get to him too later. But like with Daemon, with like Brendan Rivers, like with these other Targaryens who are like they are really good on the battlefield. They're seasoned veterans, and like they know how to wield a sword, they know how to ride the dragon, but they're also know how to manipulate everything in the background to their hand to
Players
their
in
hands.
Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
I feel
And
like
she's I guess she's a tween right now, and she's already got the wheels turning. She knows what to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a disservice in my mind. It's kind of a disservice because I already started comparing people in this show to Game of Thrones, which I wish I could just kind of watch and just let it ride and then make my own kind of narratives on them myself. But she kind of has aspects of, I guess, Sansa and Arya to me as well, because like she does want the nobility being acknowledged as someone who's like she wants the throne. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of Sansa wanted the throne. I mean, I don't know any other way to explain it. But then on the other side, like Arya wanted, just like you said, Alice, like she was out here. Like I know how to get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's at the end of the day, she has her own. I don't know. Yeah,
Character.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Sure.
yeah, I guess
I got what you're saying, like that you want to be able to like root them and kind of experience the characters without comparing them.
yeah,
But
she
I
has like
caught
aspects
the
of her
comment you
own
made.
character, but like I
Yeah, of
feel
her
like some
own
things that
character,
I
but
can't help
still.
but acknowledge from other things as well.
Yeah, and and that's not necessarily a bad thing too, because I think like the Arya comp is a really good one. Because when we were at the scene where she's laying in the weirwood, like by the weirwood tree, in Alicent's lap, and they're talking about Nymeria, like and her conquest of Dorne, or like when she came over to Dorne and everything. Like, hey, yeah, shout out Alex. We got the Martell flag up there, but when they're talking about that, I was like, that's a direct callback to like Arya. That's supposed to bring us back to Arya with her direwolf that was named Nymeria, and with the fact that she said, "Hey, I just want to like take you and fly on my dragon and just kind of live life and eat cake." And she's making a lighthearted joke as a kid, but I think there is a lot of truth in that she really wants to just like kind of live her life, but because of her name and who she isn't able to. And that was kind of the same challenges that Arya herself had to struggle with. Like
Oh,
she
and
wants.
just like Alex said, like even after that, she runs down the entire, like she tells the whole story. Like I've read this book, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what I'm talking about. I just don't care. Like
And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I just don't want to, like I don't want to be stuck and confined in like just doing that. But like
exactly.
she's very smart, and we can see. I like that we got to see like really some childlike elements of her. The fact that she like really loves her mom, and when she was talking with her, she was like, everybody's worried about the babe. I'm worried about you. Like, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see how the Alicent and Rhaenyra like that fall happens because like based off of this first episode, they look like the homies.
Yeah, they homies right
They
now.
look really inseparable,
That's what day one.
which I think is also kind of something we need to bring up with Alicent. Like you said, like Rhaenyra, smart chick. Alicent has to be just there because one, her dad is Lord of Hightower, where the Citadel is. She's always reading, and I obviously we're going to get into like her story later on, like within the next couple episodes, most likely. But I think just that juxtaposition of characters and how they are eventually going to fall out is going to be exciting to see. So I thought
Yeah.
Allison did a really good job. I like Allison.
Yeah, I love Rhaenyra for one. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and plant my flag. I'm on Rhaenyra Island. I'm here, and I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Swear, Mr. Dame Time himself.
Look, hey, I
Mr.
love.
Dame Time himself.
Hey, it's always Dame time, but I'm just telling you right now, I'm riding and dying for the princess. You know what I'm saying? But what I love about her and Allison is like they're young, but they're politically savvy. Like as opposed to like Sansa, who came to King's Landing and ain't know what the fuck was going on and just wanted to be like everybody
Yeah.
else. I feel like they're more kind of like in that young Marjorie bag where like they kind of like they know what's up, they know how to operate, they've got their wits about them. Like they're out of the tournament and they're like, oh, who's Kristen Cole? But when he comes to ask for the favor, like she's playing it cool, she's chilling, like she knows like you can't, you know what I'm saying. So and then like she knows like her uncle is like kind of like a slimy guy, but like I don't want to say nothing, but like you felt the energy there. That shit was, what I'm saying, that shit was a little weird, but
It was very weird.
Hey man, she's a preteen or an early teenager, so please let's not even entertain that thought. But I appreciated the banter between them. Like she was having some nice tete-a-tete, like
yeah,
with
the
with
Valyrian
Damon
scene was
and in
dope.
Valyrian too.
And I forget which one of you brought up her mom, but someone mentioned it to me today that's like the first kind of scene like mother daughter like we've kind of like seen really in Thrones. Like when has that relationship really been explored?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's
yeah.
always like mother to son or father to daughter, but never really mother to daughter.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was hella interesting to me. But But speaking of father and daughter relationships, let's talk about Rhaenyra's dad, the king, Viserys, first of his name, not to be confused with Viserys the cunt, Danny's brother.
The Beggar King.
Hey, I'm not
What?
gonna lie. That was probably my first time ever saying the word cunt. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a funny
That's
word.
good. What Viserys was that anyway? Was he like
The second.
He was.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, he was the
second of
second,
his
yeah.
name. Yeah. So, what do we think? Viserys, played by Paddy Considine. He's a kind of a renowned actor, very well respected in the UK and all that. So, what do we think about the king?
Well, as kings go that we've seen in Game of Thrones, he's probably the best one we've seen.
Yeah.
Like
Right?
as kings go,
yeah.
as kings. I mean, I guess John does become king at one point, and maybe Mance Raider. But like other than that, like he low key is the best we've seen. But that doesn't mean that what Dame said wasn't true. He is weak, and he is seeing these dudes on the council for what they are. They can easily get one over on him just because they know he's weak. Which is why I think to a point he was being truthful. Where it's like, make me your hand. But Viserys, I mean, I would just say he's not a bad king comparatively to what we've seen.
I mean, comparatively, the bar is like beneath the floor.
Yeah.
Like the kings that we have seen, we got Robert, who was just concerned with whoring. Then we got fucking Joffrey, who was fucking
Terrible.
a sociopath. I was like, and then, well, I was like, so we had it's just like most of the kings that we have seen throughout Game of Thrones have been like either completely disinterested in the role or horrible.
Here's my
Whereas,
thing though.
yeah.
What more do you want from the nigga? He's listening to the small council. You know what I'm saying? He's nice. He not out here getting niggas' heads chopped off for no reason.
Facts.
What more do you want from a nigga in power? It's peace. It's peacetime.
Because like Tywin said, you got to have a little bit of have an element of fear when you rule.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
he does not instill any fear.
Mhm.
He like
None.
it's like he's a good king, but it's like also I feel like if I do something, he ain't gonna do shit. Like
I mean,
to a point,
he's just
he has to keep these major his vassal lords in check, and I feel like he doesn't. Dame he instills that like, all right, I don't want to fuck around because he's there, but Viserys is like I might be able to get away with a few things.
yeah, that's
like
true. That's true.
he's just a good guy though. Like we've never seen it's very rare that we see the king out here being like a loving husband, like in the
Yeah,
in
that's
the
wild.
bathtub scene. Like we see him go into the bathtub and talk about that, and she's like opening up about her problems, and that nigga's like emotionally supporting her, and like the turmoil that he's going through internally, like when he has to make the decision, and he's like most of the other niggas that we've seen that were in positions of power in the show wouldn't have given a fuck. They would have just been like, "Fuck it, give me my son or whatever, fuck her," And we got to see like him
Dame
being a
definitely
good
would have.
guy, and the fact that he really begrudgingly like names his daughter his heir. Like he did not want to do that shit, and like apologizes for like the weight of the responsibility. So it's like we're seeing over and over that he's like just a good guy, but like good guys don't survive very long,
Mhm.
Ain't that the
Yeah.
truth?
in
I
Westeros.
really do.
His days are numbered.
I feel bad for Viserys because, like you said, like he's a good dude. Like he took over from Jaehaerys, the old king, who reigned for a long time peacefully, and now he took over for him to kind of continue the peace going on. And he got people behind his back scheming and plotting, playing the Game of Thrones. But like you said, like he's a good guy. He really just wants everyone to be happy. You said he's very like emotionally in touch with just like interacting with his wife and like actually like being a loving husband and like caring about his children. Like he cares about this shit. Like you said, we hadn't seen any of that aside from what's happening with John and the Starks. But I mean, outside of the North, like from Game of Thrones, we ain't seen anything like that. And like just knowing, like just in general knowing the story and how it plays out, just like the Dance of Dragons is just it's honestly it's a tragedy of just like how this family just falls apart, and just knowing how all this is going to end, and it's sad, honestly.
It really is. without getting too deep in it, like this shit is about to be really, really fucking sad. So
That shit was
A
nasty.
little lore
You
for
need
you,
grayscale
Tom.
lives.
When Aegon initially made the Iron Throne, he said that a king shouldn't be able to sit comfortably on the throne, and usually the small folk and other liege lords within the kingdom look at it as a sign as if you get cut by the throne, you're not fit to rule. It's kind of like the throne rejecting you. So it was just a cool nod that we get to see. Like he's got cuts on his back, he got cut on his hand. So it's like he's like again, he's one of the better kings we've seen, but it's still like he's not
He's
the
cursed.
right king to be on the throne. Essentially, what we're seeing with that.
facts. I'm glad they added that detail too, because like in the books, like Joffrey's getting cut up, Mad
Mhm.
King getting they called him like King Scab just because like he was just getting chopped up by the throne, but like they never even like mentioned that shit. Yeah, so, yeah, real nasty.
I mean, that shit looked nasty. It was reminding me of some grayscale shit. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I
the
was like,
first
wait,
time
is
I
this
saw
grayscale?
that.
Yeah, so Viserys has like it's got like a wound in his back that's not healing. Obviously, that's not good. So we'll see kind of how that goes and how that kind of affects things going forward. You know, Otto knows this information, and we see how he's already scheming. He's sending ravens to Old Town and shit. He's sending
Thanks. Real good Tywin vibes right
Blade,
there,
Right.
like,
bro.
come on, man.
Big Tywin vibes.
Yeah, so we can talk about Otto's bitch ass later, but you know, hey man, hold on. Y'all seen the time, man? It's Dame time, nigga. We're talking about
All right.
the one and only, the wonder and terror of his age, Daemon Targaryen. First of all, I just got to kick it off, man. What a performance by Matt Smith, man. You know, a lot of people doubted him when he got cast for this role because he was Doctor Who and he was like being weird on Doctor Who or whatever. But if you watch The Crown, man, you knew this nigga was special, bro.
Yeah.
So Matt Smith put his whole motherfucking foot in this role, and we needed that kind of like Jamie Lannister. We needed that kind of crazy wild nigga energy in this show because everybody's kind of playing it safe. So we needed that wild card, and he delivered. So what do we think about Dane?
I mean, that I think that's something to talk about. Like so the Jamie comparison is there, but I feel like it's like late Thrones Jamie. Like it's not like early Thrones where Jamie just thinks he's the shit or like he's a dickhead. Because like he's got like part dickhead to him, of course, but he also genuinely cares about his family. Like first person he wants to see when he comes back to King's Landing, hasn't been in court, is his niece. And he brings her a gift and says like we've both got a shared piece of our history. Then after like his sister-in-law and the baby die, like he's the one giving Rhaenyra a pep talk and saying like, hey, your dad needs you. Your dad needs you right now. But at the same time, on the other side of the coin, he's also the other nigga that's beheading niggas and castrating niggas
That's not necessarily a bad thing. Now,
I
don't think it's necessarily, but he was
Oh, Mike,
what he was
tough
doing
on
wasn't
crime,
necessarily
man.
bad.
Mike, tough
Gold
on
lives
crime.
matter.
Gold
Gold
lives
lives
matter.
What did Corliss say? Is like, I mean, if you want to deter crime, that's the one way to do it. And you got a bunch of people coming to the city. You want them to run rampant? I mean, they were murderers and rapers and
like,
shit.
he
Ain't
might
no
have
Miranda
gone.
rights in King's Landing, man.
That's what I'm
Like-
saying. Hey, did they do an investigation into them niggas? They was just
Fuck
they
them
was they was out there like raper, murderer.
Damn, you do an investigation into them niggas? When
He
you
burned everyone.
Chris?
I mean, like he might have gone a little to the extreme,
Rambunctious.
just maybe a little bit, but his methods were effective.
Did the ends justify the means, Alec?
Probably not,
Unnecessary
but
roughness.
I mean, you got to get somewhere.
Unnecessary roughness.
I mean, I'll take the 15-yard penalty. That's fine.
Daemon Targaryen is going to be like the most polarizing character, I think, in Game of Thrones thus far. Because like we've heard in panels and shit, like you have to ask yourself the question: is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I think 100% he rides for his family. Like he obviously cares for his brother. He cares for his niece. He didn't give a fuck about his wife, but he cares about anybody named Targaryen. He's gonna ride for. And exactly what he said to King Viserys at the end.
told him exactly what he needed to hear. You know what I mean? Like hard truths cut both ways. He legit pointed out what the small council was doing, pointed out that he's the only one that's looking out for his best interest. But again, on the flip side of that, there is ambition in this dude's eyes. Like he, to a point, he'll do what he can, but if he feels at any second that he's the best option for his family, he's going to go stop it. I don't think he's going to stop it at any means to achieve that. So I think it's going to be cool to kind of see. He's ready to go see him get bathed in glory the next 4 or 5 episodes. He's going to come back, and once he has that cockiness, I like how you compared the Jaime and Daemon thing. Although I was disappointed Daemon got his ass beat in the melee. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think Jaime. Two-handed Jaime.
That nigga beat him with the flail too. He beat him with the flail. That nigga's fine. Like that nigga's fine.
Yeah, hey, I'm saying two-handed Jaime. Hey, that ain't happened to him.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
It's probably not, honestly.
But like I said, we're about to go see him get bathed in glory. We're about to see his confidence rise. We're going to see the small folk kind of turn like, well, Daemon is this and that and the third, and he's a great warrior and this. So we're going to see in the next couple episodes where he leans towards, in our eyes, good or evil or good or bad. But for the most part, he's going to be toeing the line. So,
yeah, Daemon is gonna infuriate, a lot of people. He's gonna have a lot of fans. He's gonna have a lot of haters. Like Dante said, he's about to be super polarizing. George R. R. Martin himself actually said that Daemon is his favorite character, like of all the characters he's written. So, I mean, if that's not high praise, I don't know what is.
I'm riding Team Daemon right now.
Okay.
You got Rhaenyra. I'm like, hey, I'm rocking with Daemon right now.
I mean, if we were giving out performances for an episode, that nigga had a Wilt 100-point game. Like that nigga's look. I was just comparing him on a matchup by matchup basis. That nigga matched up to Otto, bruh. He insulted that nigga's dead wife, crippled his son, and then got his daughter to throw him the reef. I was like, damn, this nigga was just stayed dunking on this nigga, bro.
Man, that nigga stopped the whole, bro. Being the prince is lit. First of all, this man got to choose whoever he wanted to fight in the tournament. He made this. All right, so in the whorehouse, we literally see hitting it from the middle of the room. And this dick riding ass nigga to the left says, "The prince is about to speak." First of all, chill, man. Dick riding, bro. Like, please, like you're occupied. Have fun.
Like, come on, nigga.
This man made this man stop mid stroke, middle of and turn around and watch this man speak, man. So being the prince, that shit's lit, man. He's the prince of the city. Shout out to Wiz Khalifa. But moving away from the big three so far, a lot of these players are going to have a bigger role to play going forward. Let's talk about, someone near and dear to our hearts, man. The Black Panther of Westeros. See Snake, man. So first impressions of Big Corliss, man. What do we think, man? It's great to have a black man on Game of Thrones, man. Let's go.
Corliss, he wants to smoke with Otto. You can tell. Corliss and Otto, they do not fuck with each other. You can tell because he was staring him down when he was like, "Oh yeah, like when the king wants to talk about the ships, like we'll talk about that." And then Corliss like looked at him, like stared, and like, "Nigga, what?" Like,
yeah, right.
Like, like you better be glad the king right here. I'd slap your ass up right now. Like, you better know your place. Like, I'm here for that. I love it.
I loved Corliss. I'm not gonna lie. He's very calculated.
Yeah,
he is calculated. He knows what he's doing. He definitely don't fuck with Otto, and you could tell. Like, I feel like because like where his seat was opposite of the king. Isn't that like supposed to be the second head of the table essentially? Like,
yeah.
So you could. I feel like they're kind of showing without showing how much strength or sway he does hold, but. I love how in the same scene when he was like backing Daemon, he then goes and backs himself and his family to have the throne. You could tell that shit like irks at him. Like
He's
He's like
pissed.
my son, my wife, my queen. We should be on the throne, and I've been denied it. And I feel like he's gonna be able to. He's gonna try to slip that in whenever he can.
And that's why I was so excited when they made Corliss black because I mean I don't know if they're going to explore it or not, but that like literally adds another layer to like them getting skipped over. It's like, oh, did they do it because he black too? I don't know if they're gonna bring it up, but that shit would be cool if they did.
They definitely gonna. That would.
But yeah, Corliss ended up being on a bit of the losing side this episode. We saw with like the way he was just kind of dunked on with his wife and her being referred to as the queen who never was. So he was just a little bit just slighted, over and over. Just small grievances here and there. So I can't really call him a winner. It was great to kind of see him in the show, but I definitely think there's a lot more to come and like a lot more to be explored with him, but he didn't start off on the best foot.
He got a shit on Otto, man. He's got to get it.
He does have to get back at that nigga, bro.
Oh, he won't get back at him. He coming for him. He stared him down. He was like, "I got your ass, nigga."
Otto was sick nigga, man. So
he is.
I'm gonna just Corliss. Like look at everybody who hates Otto. Corliss, Damon. If they teamed up, that would be like a little Steph and Draymond kind of vibe. So man, let's go.
That's Draymond.
Hey, I don't know who wants to be who. You know what I'm saying? That's between them.
Damn, that's a bad comp. We can't give Corliss the triple single, bro. We can't give. You could have went Kobe and Shaq.
You can't give him Draymond.
You could have went Kobe and Shaq, man. That nigga's the richest nigga in the.
Hey, they only got 3.
They call him Draymond.
Kobe and Shaq only got 3.
Oh, bro.
Let's talk about it.
Hey, and Shaq got MVPs. Come on now.
All right. We just mad nobody saying Trey and DeJounte. But
niggas don't got that dog in them, man.
All right, yeah. So let's touch on some of these minor characters that didn't really get as much screen time. So since we're talking about Otto briefly, Tom, tell us a little bit about Alicent. What you thought?
Alicent, I don't want to say favorite. I don't know, man. I'm kind of impartial. I think her and Rhaenyra's relationship was probably the coolest part for me to start the episode. Just because, I don't know, I'm hearing that there's like some kind of rift and then they start beefing, which makes me kind of like, yo, I got to see what's going on here. Because I think Dante touched on it earlier. When they're like studying, like she's like laying on her lap, she's going in. I think when she first got back to, was that Dragonstone? When she got back, the first person she sees is Alicent. Like, I don't know, it just seems like they have a bond there. I feel like Alicent is also going to, even though Pops Otto's he's scum. I don't even want to talk about that guy.
Pimping out his daughter.
That's after the king's wife and child just died. Like the first thing you think of is to throw your daughter in the same room. All right.
Wait a minute. Why is it bad if Otto does it, but Tywin he's dope? Tywin does it.
Tywin ain't serve up.
Who said it was dope? He did it.
What you mean? Served up his daughter to the king?
Cersei was like 40. Cersei
was like 17 when she married Robert.
Okay, but that was Robert, though, man.
Robert wasn't an old nigga. They was like the same. They was around the same age.
Yeah, Robert was him.
Alice is literally just as old as his daughter. Like that's the nasty shit.
Nigga overthrew the Targaryens. He literally hurt them. Like he's him.
But nonetheless, like even though when she goes to speak to the king, she kind of, I don't know if is reciprocity the right word. Like they kind of had like a trauma bond with like her losing her mother, him losing his wife, and just showing that, like, I don't know, just showing that she could relate in some way. So I don't know. I feel like she's a good character. I'm in on that one too.
Yeah, me like
I like
Sansa
Allison.
vibes from like when she was like interning with Littlefinger. You know what I'm saying? So she was like just now learning.
Interning?
Yeah,
Hell no,
Yeah,
that's a
that's slimy.
crazy
That's
way
very
to
slimy.
when she was
describe
like
that
just
shit.
learning like how to lie and shit. That's kind of what Allison reminds me of.
Yeah, I
It's
can see
like
it.
he was like, "Oh, Rhaenyra, you need to learn this shit," and that's kind of like Sansa being like, "Oh, Arya, you got to do your embroidery or whatever type shit." You know what I'm saying? But like, she still got a little political savvy to her, which I'm fucking with.
Yeah, I think she's definitely smarter than Sansa. But I agree with Tom. I'm excited to see where Allison goes. She's obviously going to be a major player, but I'm excited to see like where she falls in the line of good and bad as well in our eyes. So
I'm gonna shed some light right quick on my man CC Christian Cole, man. I got to show the Dornish man some love, man. Man took off his helmet. She
Oh
was like,
yeah,
"God, he's Dornish." I was like, "Tuh,
let's go.
come on now." Big Martell stuff, but Christian Cole, he's self made. His armor was busted. He came out against Damon, and the juxtaposition of their two armors was fucking crazy because Damon had like that crazy ass dragon armor.
The head joint, yeah, she was
Yeah,
hard.
that shit
This
was
is
hard.
tough.
And then
That was
Christian
tough.
Cole came out there looking like Bad News Bears with his little morning star, and he whooped his ass. He whooped his ass.
He
So
did that.
he didn't have much to say or much to say this episode, but keep an eye on him going forward. He's going to play a very important role.
I
And
don't I don't I don't even think we heard of House Cole in the normal Game of Thrones timeline, did we? Because I didn't know they were Dornish, and I didn't know. I forgot the Dundarians. Are they Dornish?
no,
No,
our
they're
It's
from the
from the
Stormlands.
Stormlands.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's like, isn't Kristen Cole, Sir Dundarian, whoever he is,
The
he was
bastard.
his squire,
is like I don't know,
second squire.
a common person from like the Dondarrion realm, which is like they rule over like the Dornish marches, which is like right on the
Pretty
border.
much like the neck of.
It's like the border of the Stormlands and Dorne. So he probably
Okay.
mixed breed. Yeah, man.
I think maybe that's an interesting way that they're gonna bring in like Dornish, like the Dornish culture, because the Dornish culture is completely different, and I'm already seeing like there's some kind of like at least some kind of like kinship or something, some kind of relationship that's gonna be built between Rhaenyra and Kristen Cole, because like women in Dorne, have elevated status, elevated power, and whatnot. So I think that's a way that they're gonna bring in that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking about Dorne, like at this point in the history, like they're like Dorne is still technically like an independent country. Like hasn't even been like annexed into the Seven Kingdoms because
True.
Dorne is like the only place that ever fought off the Targaryen invasion from years and years ago. And like it's not only I don't think it's they may or may not talk about it here like during this not this season but during this series, but it's like sometime afterwards that Dorne actually becomes a part of Westeros, like a part of Westeros proper, and that's why like they're able to still keep their titles of like that's why when we saw
Prince and
Oberyn the
Princess.
first time, yeah, he was still known as Prince Oberyn because like they were never
Well,
conquered.
they didn't get annexed until the marriage with Rhaegar, which was like 10 years before the events of Game of Thrones or the start of Game of Thrones.
So like Dorne was still out here doing their like and hell we don't see we know what happened in season 5 with the Dornish plot line. Like that's not how it was not how it's supposed to be. In the books we know how Dorne gets down. But hopefully, during this time during like we'll actually get to see more of how the Dornish culture and just like how badass they actually are. And like
we need that.
they've lost like the Targaryens have lost a number of dragons in the Dornish sands
Desert.
in the desert trying to take over Dorne, and it clearly never worked.
Facts.
Never ever worked. But
Unbowed, unbent, unbroken. You know the words?
We know the words. We know the words. Fuck a dragon.
Before we get into the dragons, I was gonna save this for my MVP, but I'll be remiss to not mention the Queen Emma Aaron for her role that she played. she really made the episode like into an all timer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get the mother daughter stuff, which is awesome. We kind of see the role that women are playing in the even more patriarchal Westeros than we get in Game of Thrones. But like, she literally says, like, yeah, my whole job is just to have babies. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, Cersei had more agency than that, a little bit at least. So, shout out to Emma Aaron for holding it down. That C-section scene. That shit was
That was
it was tough to
yikes.
watch.
That was
It
tough.
was,
That was
it
pretty
was
bad.
gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
That stuff was gut wrenching. That comes up there in like some like Game of Thrones makes you watch some pretty tough stuff, and
Yeah,
that was a very tough scene to pull in like all the house ladies to come and like hold her down
yeah,
as they're just doing the scene, and then you see like the blood just pool all over the bed. At the same time, like in the scenes that she's in before that, we're seeing her having a really loving connection with her daughter, and like she's sitting in the chair fanning herself and like, hey, the royal rooms are our bedroom, and that was a crazy amount of foreboding that we got for later in the episode. And then we see her talk about the struggles of having 5 lost children before this.
in
Before
10
this
years.
in 10 years, she said 2 stillbirths, 2 miscarriages, and one that died in the crib. And this one, was another one that died in the crib.
I think someone was fucking with her though, low key.
Like, well, I was curious, is she like is
Talk about
is
it.
she like Targaryen related? Because like she's got the look in the so
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
thinking
like
maybe
her
it's
dad was an
like
Aaron and her mom was a Targaryen.
Yeah, she's Viserys' cousin.
she's just okay. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's more of like the incest issues is really probably what gave her a lot of like childbirth issues or whatnot. But that it was just gut wrenching. She played a very powerful role, and they said she was only on set for 5 days. Like she was only on set for 5 days.
And
If you
she
watch
killed it though.
the episode, and they said she really played like a really strong part in
She's getting more parts after this, so
Right, she killed it. Apparently, she's in the show on Apple TV. I might check out. It's a comedy too, so apparently she's funny.
All right, okay, I can see
No
it.
idea. So, Alex, man, you want to give us this dragon breakdown?
Yeah, like I thought like this, especially like seeing the just the way that the dragons were handled and seeing the dragon tamers and the dragon pit, like
Man, they were
that
great.
was
I want
that
that
was
job.
dope. Because I thought yeah, wouldn't be me. But I thought
One of them niggas was shaking in his boots, bro.
that was yeah, me too. What you mean? But like
I'd
it
rather
was
do that than just being flea bottom getting robbed.
I mean, you might
Probably
have
got benefits as a
you might
dragon.
have a point. But like
Definitely
this,
don't got
401k.
them niggas was dirty as hell. They don't got no benefits. Them niggas look like they didn't even get a bath, bro.
but just like just seeing the way that like the Targaryens are able to Targaryens and also by extension these dragon tamers are just able to control the dragons. Like we never saw that in Game of Thrones. We only saw the Drogon, Viserion, and oh my god, Rhaegal. There it is. I'm about to say we only saw them just flying around doing their thing, like whatever. And then when shit got real, they'd show up for Dany and burn some shit down. But then after that, they fuck off and kill some sheep or something. But like here, we're actually seeing like these dragons being tamed, and it was wild. Like when Rhaenyra flew into the dragon pit and hopped off, and gave her little dragon a hug, and then the dragon tamers were like, "All right," I don't know what they said, but they said the magic words, and then the dragon was like, "All right, bet," and then walked in there,
Walking in the cave.
and it was like, "Oh my dang, that's pretty dope." And also just seeing the differences between the dragons.
Yes.
I thought like,
That's what
and
I wanted to say.
actually being able to notice the differences between the dragons, because like
Well-
Cyrax, Rhaenyra's dragon, the gold one, like it's very clearly like gold as fuck, and you can tell that this thing is meant to be gold. And Daemon's
Caraxes.
dragon, Caraxes, like that one looks crazy because that thing has a huge fucking neck and like wings on its
I
legs.
was gonna say
I was
Caraxes
like-
looks different than any other. Like
Yeah.
Caraxes looks like an Eastern dragon, like
Yeah,
from
like-
Eastern lore, and then like compared to like Drogon and Rhaegal and Viserion, they look like those dragons look completely different.
Yeah.
Which I think is dope.
Yeah, and like we're supposed to be seeing like somewhat like around like 9 or 10 dragons this season, and apparently they all look very like they all like look unique and look different and have their own personalities and all. So I'm very excited to see what this HBO budget has done for these dragons.
To y'all niggas though.
All right, so
You look long.
Yeah.
He looked like kind of long, like
a Chris Porzingis.
The neck was the majority
Like
of
the
his
first
body
two
was like this.
seasons.
Yeah, neck. Like
It was like the
in
first
book,
two
in
seasons of
Fire
Chris
and
Stapps.
Blood, like they refer to Caraxes as the blood worm because he's red and he's like super long like a worm.
snake for one.
So it was dope to see them kind of like bring that to life. Like, then it really is long as fuck. And like, I was listening to a interview with Miguel Sapochnik, and you see how like Caraxes has those like wings on his legs. It's like he's like that long. He's kind of like deformed. So the only way he can fly is if he has those extra gliders on his legs. So that's why you see when he takes off, he's just kind of like whoosh, whoosh, going back and forth like a fucking snake because like he just has trouble flying because of how he's built. Which is dope.
Damn,
Love it.
That's a pretty
I'm here for
cool
that.
look.
Hell yeah. So the question everybody wants to know, man.
Well, hold up. The last minor character I wanted to touch on, Masaria.
Oh yeah. We can't
She
erase
got-
Masaria.
We can't erase our new resident hoe, man. We can't,
Yeah.
we can't erase Masaria, man. She was over there giving pep talks to Damon, on the timeouts or whatever. she was flat as a board, though. I was like that. That was a bad look on her. Like she came up from that, but she said, "Hey, but what's better than that? You know how she made up for it. She said, I'll bring in other bitches for you." I was like, "Shit, that kind of makes up for it." She was like, "You need something else." She was really there to give him a pep talk, and we got to see her really ride off into the, quote unquote sunset after this nigga Damon was banished to go back to the Vale. Like that's the person that he decided to accompany him. And
Honestly, I feel like the Masaria, how they handle Masaria is my only gripe about the whole show. Because they didn't make it clear that like they were going to be a thing. Like it was like they were in the whorehouse together one time or twice, and all of a sudden he's like taking her somewhere. Like we only get 2 interactions, and they weren't even like I would say that critical. And then all of a sudden he's taking. I feel like they could have like maybe shown her more, because I was like, oh, I guess she's just. Because I forgot that I was even the same chick from the whorehouse until like my second watch. So I think they could have like emphasized that a little more, maybe.
Yeah, I feel that.
I trust him. I just know she's bad business.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what it comes down to. She's bad business, and that's why they're not gonna make it seem like she's an integral part of the story. But yeah, she's like I said. We saw. I don't know. Remember if it was the end credits, like the end of the episode, but like she's showing up a little bit too much. So she's got something to. She's playing a bigger role than they're letting on so far.
Yeah,
I mean, we see the sway she's got over Damon, so I think being close to power and being able to have some influence on somebody that's that's that much of a loose cannon, I think will definitely play out over the series as we see him kind of progress and like Mike said, toe that line from good and bad, because right now we've seen her kind of just make him indulge in himself and push him to that line. Because I feel like in one thing that we didn't touch on in the second in the second time they're in the brothel and he's like got all the gold cloaks in there and kind of celebrating, I think Damon's really looking sad. Damon was sad. And she's like, "Hey, drink." She's like, "Hey, drink. You're up. You're the heir." Like, what you up, nigga? She's sad for? We up. Yeah, like she's like, "We up. We partying." And then he has to give that shitty speech that got him banished, bro. The heir for a day, man. Like
that's fucked up.
That was fucked up. But I mean, she's kind of the devil on his shoulder right now.
All right, here I got a quick question concerning Otto. So since we didn't literally see the words "heir for a day" come out of Damon's mouth, Otto is the one who reported this. Do we think that this is something that Otto kind of made up or twisted, manipulated to kind of work for him in his favor?
No? I would say no, just because Damon didn't deny saying it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my
He
point.
could have said, "I know, I didn't say that. I said this or maybe something close." But I mean, he didn't say he didn't say it. So
Okay.
And
All right.
then he like jumps right into that, like, we have to mourn different ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? He said something so broad and so like introspective, like instead of just being like, nah, I didn't say it, or my bad.
Or
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
bad.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
my bad.
you know what
I
I'm
did.
saying?
Now
He's
he
like,
being
I
like,
could have
"Snap,"
said it.
like,
It was a bad. It was in retrospect. You know, that wasn't the nicest thing to say. But
yeah.
nah, I mean, Damon is still a dickhead. So like,
I'm just checking the tinfoil temperature right now. You know, checking
It's
the
No,
episode
temp.
don't
one.
get
We
it
got
twisted.
time.
I'm not rocking with Otto at all. And I think he's something he either had something to do. Well, we'll get around to that. But yeah, I don't trust Otto. I don't trust Otto, but this one he'll get a pass.
Okay. So now we could get to the question everybody's been wondering: how does the House of the Dragon pilot compare to the Game of Thrones pilot? What do we think?
I mean, it's obviously better.
Whoa!
better. It's better. It's better.
What we get is better CGI.
Yeah.
It's a lot more happened. I won't say actually no. I guess the first
The
pilot
production.
sets the whole events of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the
Right,
production
but
value is great.
It meshed well. It meshed better here than it did on the
yes,
first episode of Game of Thrones. My head was spinning. Was a whole lot of. This was easier to follow.
Is that because you're more used to like
Once
Game of
again,
Thrones
like the
now?
character, yeah, exactly. That part could be true also, but I feel like also the fact that we're not traveling across to Winterfell to you know what I'm
yeah, we
saying
in King's Landing the whole episode.
yeah, exactly, we're not all over the place, so I feel like that was helpful also. So
I feel
Yeah,
like
Okay.
helps
the
you a little. I mean, if we could take it in parts, what they say, you got the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the conclusion. Like if we go from all of those parts, it hits on the best elements of the on the last pilot. Like we did last season. Last show with Game of Thrones. They started off opening up to the White Walkers
Mhm.
and kind of building that big problem. They do another cold open on this show by opening up with the Great Council at Harrenhal. Then they end the episode with Bran being pushed out the window, and they end this episode with all of the lords pledging fealty to Rhaenyra, as the new heir. But
Viserys'
I
dream.
yeah, Viserys' dream and everything. But I think the middle of the episode, like the meat part, so it's like both of those things I think are very comparable. But I think they don't have anything like the tournament or like Emma's birth that stands out like this one really did. That happens, in the middle of that episode. So I think they hit on like the other ones both very similar in how it began and how it ended. But I think the way in which we got there was better executed in this episode.
That's real. That's real.
To be honest, I haven't seen the first episode of Game of Thrones in a minute, but I feel like the middle of the show, there's a lot of things that are being said that you need to kind of know what happened in the past to kind of even get an understanding. And like if it's your first time watching, you're like, I don't know what the fuck's happening right now or who they're talking about. You know what I mean? But here it's like we kind of have that exposition already, and just what is happening throughout the middle of the show is just already is more entertaining. You have the dragons, you have the melee, you have the C-section, you have the gold cloaks. I mean, there was a lot of shit that really happened, a lot of action versus you just get kind of Bran getting we know that there's incest in the show and Bran gets pushed out the window in the first pilot of Game of Thrones.
The part that really like sold it for me, I was like, oh yeah, this is a dope episode. This is dope. But the part that really sold it for me is at the end when Viserys and Rhaenyra are talking in the in the catacomb in front of Balerion, and he's like, yeah, like Aegon, he called it a song of ice and fire, and like just like us knowing like what happened in Game of Thrones,
about?
and we know I know like you're saying, Mike, like for people who like weren't in this before and this is the first time seeing this, they might not know that, but just seeing like the opening scene for Game of Thrones, it's like it just came out of nowhere. You're just like, what the fuck is this? Because the rest of the episode is all like normal stuff that we're talking about, but then like at the very beginning we see these weird ass ice zombies. But then in this episode, just the one quick little clip is her and him and Viserys and Rhaenyra talking, and I was like, yeah, this is the the Song of Ice and Fire, and at some point, something from the north is coming to wipe us all out, and then just knowing like hearing like we knew that these were tied together, but hearing that and then also knowing how it ends, like how it really like tied, how this is like really like tying everything together. I was like, yep, here it is. This is it. This is it.
It was a hell of a retcon, and you even see that they zoom in on the cat's paw dagger on his belt.
Yeah,
like he's got the dagger on his belt. Like they really did a good job of kind of like, I think, paying homage to the series that laid the framework for this, and that's a good tidbit that kind of at least explains why all of the different Targaryens feel a little crazy, right? Because they've got a crazy kind of weight on their shoulders in all their expectations of like maybe that that looms in the back of their mind as all these kings are maturing, that like, hey, there's a big bad coming, and they don't know when it's supposed to come, but they're always kind of suspecting that.
Facts. That shit's stressful. Hey, as the meme says, shit's stressful, bro.
That's
fuck.
So in the interest of time, we gonna go ahead and do this. Give me your MVP of the episode, and give me and why, and give me a prediction for the next episode, or something that you would like to see more of, see again, whatever.
I'll go first because I already know what I was gonna say.
Let's go.
MVP, obviously. Y'all know what time it is.
Sir.
Thank you, KP, for coming out with this. You know what time it is. And my prediction, or why, I mean, we pretty much was talking about this dude the whole show. I mean, there are multiple reasons. I mean, dude's an asshole. Dude's a great person. He's a great fighter. He's got Caraxes. He kind of mobilized the city watch, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing I want to see that I think we might get next episode, if not next or in 2, we're going to see him and Corlys head down to the Stepstones and take care of some triarchy. I have that prediction. Okay. I feel like we're going to see that sooner than later. I feel like could be wrong, but just prediction.
I'm gonna keep it on. I'm gonna keep it going, and of course, it's Dame time. Like, he was very obviously the MVP of this episode. But I'm gonna leave it at this. Remember what Littlefinger said? Chaos is a ladder. Mm-hmm. And we about to watch Daemon create a bunch of chaos and climb that ladder.
Okay.
Okay, good callback. I mean, we'll go for the sweep, man. This is 3. It's 3 for Dame time. That nigga, like I said, that nigga played a master class. I don't think that nigga took any L's. Like, like you could say the banishment was kind of an L, but I mean, I was like, but I don't really know if, like, that shit really didn't tarnish his.
Hey, nigga got to go home to his wife and take his bitch with him.
Facts, and like I'm saying, like that nigga rode off on a dragon. It's like kind of hard to hand that nigga an L after he's riding off on a dragon, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? So that nigga went crazy. But my prediction is, like, I don't think Viserys is gonna last very long, man. That nigga got shit growing on his back, got cuts. I'd be surprised if he makes it past episode 3, man.
Okay.
He's first on my death board, man.
I think he'll make it further than episode 3. That's kind of crazy. They're not gonna do him like that.
You never know, man.
Never know.
Just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, I'm not gonna go Dame time for my MVP. We're gonna give it to Big CC, Christian Cole.
Okay.
Because he won.
He did win.
He came in.
You're right.
He came in. He took care of business. Got Dame out the paint. Walked up on Rhaenyra and was like, "Hey, can I get your favor?" And bounced out. Didn't want to make a scene. He came in and handled his business and left. So
smooth operator.
I think I'm gonna give him MVP since everybody's so high on Dame right now.
All right. Okay.
Prediction. Wow. I don't know. It's first episode. All I got is predictions. I didn't read the book. Let's go. I may have to say the prediction I'll make is Corlys and how do you say his wife's name? The queen that
Rhaenys.
Rhaenys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make a run their first run. I think they're going to try to make a run at I won't necessarily say the throne, but they're going to be making calculated moves very soon. I'll give them to episode about 3 or 4 before we start to see them start moving some chess pieces on the board. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. My MVP of the episode has got to go to the new heir, man. The first named female heir in Westerosi history, man. Rhaenyra, of course, Damon, Matt Smith stole the show, you know what I'm saying? But this show doesn't work unless you have a good Rhaenyra. And I thought Millie Alcock did a great job. She killed it. She gave us a little bit of edge that I wasn't expecting out of her. We all know Rhaenyra.
Fuck Deception.
Yeah,
Fuck Deception.
Right?
Fuck Deception.
Hey,
That was a great line.
Rhaenyra's tough, man. So I'm gonna award her MVP. She made the episode go. Everything was kind of revolving around her. So she made it work. And my prediction is that next episode we gonna see some sparks fly. We might not get a whole romance scene, but we're gonna see some sparks fly between well, not between, but for Alicent and Rhaenyra individually. Who those sparks gonna be for, we gonna see. But we gonna see some sparks.
Yeah, well, there you have it, haters.
There you motherfucking have it. We are back, and we will stay back for the next 9 weeks. We got a bunch of content dropping for you. We're gonna have the pods breaking down the episodes. I know me and Mike got TikToks coming out. I got my little article I write, my little breakdown that I write. You know what I'm saying? A little so and so, a little recap of the show.
Possibly a Twitter space.
Yeah,
So,
We
Thrones
working on
Thursday,
that.
Twitter space, maybe that's tentative, but we got a lot of shit, man. We are so back. So, any closing comments, fellas?
Hot D is back.
Hey, man, it's good. It's good to be
Hot
back.
D.
Man. It's good to be back. All you haters, stay tapped in, man.
Hey, fact.
You got to
If
tap
you was
into hate.
actually a hater, not just name, but if you haven't watched this show yet, if you are holding out just because you was mad at one episode of
Give it
Game
up.
of Thrones,
Give it
nigga,
up.
fuck you. It's too late. Stay your funky ass on whatever, on fucking Reddit, typing hate speech, nigga. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. That's all I gotta say. We don't need you. We 10 million deep already. First episode,
10 million.
nigga. We don't
That's
need y'all
crazy.
funky asses.
10 million.
Mm-hmm.
With that
Peace.
being said, it's been a wonderful time talking to you fellas about House of the Dragon, man. Until next week, haters, I'm KP.
Mikey
I'm Igor.
Dimes.
D-Wild.
Scotty too rare.